If you have a small business, let me tell you about how a man in the 1800s became America's second millionaire and changed the game of marketing and promotion forever. You are capable of so much more than you think, and the story of P.T. Barnum proves it. In a time of rigid conformity and silent obedience, one man dared to orchestrate the symphony of the spectacular, to give life to the lifeless, color to the colorless. This is the story of Phineas Taylor Barnum, the Shakespeare of showmanship, the prince of promotion, the father of modern-day advertising. Born in the humble town of Bethel, Connecticut on July 5, 1810, young Phineas's world was anything but the canvas of curiosity and wonder he would later paint. The son of a tailor and a storekeeper's daughter, Barnum was a merchant of dreams trapped in a peddler's life. But within him burned a fire, a yearning for more, for the extraordinary. His early years were a patchwork of ventures and adventures, from running a lottery to selling snacks and cherry rum to soldiers. But it was in 1835 that Barnum's life took a turn towards the extraordinary. With the promotion of an elderly woman, Joyce Heath, Barnum stepped into the limelight, spinning tales of her being the 161-year-old nurse to George Washington. It was a spectacle shrouded in controversy, yet it was just the beginning. Barnum's American Museum became a beacon of the bizarre, a palace of the peculiar. From the Fiji Mermaid to General Tom Thumb, Barnum didn't just sell tickets, he sold experiences. He sold dreams. Yet not all that glitters is gold, and behind the curtains of grandeur, Barnum was a man of paradoxes, a crusader for temperance, yet a purveyor of humbug, an advocate for civil rights, yet a man who profited from the exhibition of others. His life was a tapestry of triumph and tragedy, of love and loss, but the fire that consumed his beloved museum twice could not scorch his spirit. From the ashes rose the greatest show on earth, a circus that would become his legacy, a testament to the indomitable will of a man who could sell anything to anyone. Phineas Taylor Barnum, a mastermind of marketing, a conjurer of the curious, his life was his greatest act, his name an everlasting marquee in the halls of entertainment. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, to the grandest show on earth, the legendary circus of P.T. Barnum. In the quaint lanes of Bethel, a young Phineas Taylor Barnum was already displaying a knack for the dramatic, and he had an eye for opportunity. His grandfather, a noted prankster, had bequeathed him a peculiar inheritance, in ownership of a piece of land known as Ivy Island, which turned out to be a worthless swamp. But even this early jest could not dampen the spirit of a boy who would become the master of the grand illusion. Barnum's youth was not one of idle hands. He was a jack of all trades, selling lottery tickets, running a small fruit stand, and even publishing his own newspaper, the Herald of Freedom, which landed him in jail for libel. And it was here, in the confines of a cell, that Barnum's resolve to make a name for himself only grew stronger. Upon his release, Barnum took to the road as a traveling salesman, honing the skills in the art of the deal. But it was his marriage to Charity Hallett that set the stage for his eventual rise. Charity's unwavering support provided Barnum with the stability he needed to chase his dreams of grandeur. The year 1835 marked a pivotal moment in Barnum's life. He started promoting Joyce Heath, an elderly woman who he claimed was the 161-year-old former nurse of George Washington. The exhibition was a mix of awe and moral ambiguity, but it was undeniably Barnum's first taste of the limelight, and he was just getting started. With the profits from Heath's exhibition, Barnum's ambitions only swelled. He ventured into the world of entertainment full throttle, acquiring a dilapidated museum in New York City, which he transformed into the American Museum. Here, Barnum curated a collection of the odd, the unusual, the extraordinary. The Fiji Mermaid, an oddity purported to be the mummified remains of a creature half fish, half monkey, was among one of his first attractions. Though a hoax, it captivated the imagination of all who beheld it. But it was not just the inanimate objects that drew the crowds. Barnum had a talent for discovering human curiosities as well. General Tom Thumb, born Charles Sherwood Stratton, stood only 25 inches tall as an adult. And under Barnum's guidance, he became an international sensation, performing for celebrities and royalty, including Queen Victoria herself. As the museum's fame grew, so did Barnum's flair for the dramatic. He staged elaborate stories to draw in the crowds. His philosophy was simple. The public appears disposed to be amused, even when they are conscious of being deceived. As the American Museum thrived, Barnum's genius for promotion knew no bounds. He would parade his performers down Broadway, creating a spectacle that the city had never seen before. It was a living advertisement, a precursor to the modern-day parade, and it was all Barnum's invention. But Barnum's life was not without its shadows. The museum, his temple of wonder, was burned to the ground twice by fire. Yet each time Barnum rose from the ashes, his resolve unshaken, his vision undimmed, he rebuilt, each iteration grander than the last, a phoenix of entertainment. In the face of adversity, Barnum's personal life was also a tightrope walk. The death of his beloved wife Charity in 1873 left him adrift, but his marriage to Nancy Fish the following year brought a new chapter of companionship for him. As the 19th century marched on, so did Barnum's ambitions. The circus, the grandest of Americans' pastimes, beckoned. In 1871, he launched the P.T. Barnum Grand Traveling Museum, a traveling spectacle that was unprecedented in scale and splendor. And Barnum's circus was a microcosm of the world, a place where the fantastical became tangible. It was here that he partnered with James A. Bailey and later the Ringling Brothers, creating a legacy that would endure long past his time. Yet for all the grandeur, Barnum's practices were not without criticism. His exhibitions often blurred the lines of ethical entertainment, and its use of human curiosity sparked debates that would resonate into the modern era. Barnum's influence extended beyond the circus tent, too. He served as the mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, advocating for clean water, temperance, the abolition of slavery. His philanthropic efforts, particularly in the realm of education, left an indelible mark on the community. As the twilight of his life approached, Barnum reflected on his journey. "I am a showman by profession," he said, "and all the gilding shall make nothing else of me," he declared. And yet he was so much more, a complex man, a paradox of his own making. In the autumn years of his life, Barnum looked back on a life that had been anything but ordinary. He had become a name synonymous with wonder, a man who transformed American entertainment forever. But as he reflected, he knew that his greatest legacy was the joy he brought to the faces of the young and the old. Barnum's final years were spent as much in contemplation as in spectacle. He continued to innovate, even experimenting with the greatest show on earth, on water, with a floating circus that traveled down the Mississippi River. But time is the ringmaster of us all, and on April 7th, 1891, the great P.T. Barnum took his final bow. The news of his passing swept across the nation like the finale of a grand performance, leaving a silence where once there was laughter and applause. Yet the silence was not to last. Barnum's legacy was immortalized in the circus that continued to bear his name, in the art of advertising that he had revolutionized, and in the very fabric of American culture that he had helped to weave. The debate over Barnum's ethical legacy continues to this day. Scholars and historians grapple with the complexities of his character. A man who both exploited but also celebrated human uniqueness, who championed public education while perpetuating hoaxes. His life remains a mirror to the American dream, its grand promises, its glittering illusions, and its enduring quest for something more. And as the curtain falls on our tale, we're left to ponder the enigma of P.T. Barnum. Was he a visionary or a charlatan? A liberator or an exploiter? Perhaps he was all of these things, a man of his time and yet a man ahead of his time. In the end, P.T. Barnum's life was a spectacle as grand as any he had ever created under the big top. A show that made us believe in the unbelievable, see the unseeable, and dream the undreamable. And that, perhaps, is the greatest show there ever was. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, to the grandest show on earth, the eternal circus of P.T. Barnum. And as a small business owner yourself, there are several key takeaways from Mr. Barnum's story. Number one, you don't need permission to become powerful. You are capable of manifesting your destiny regardless of what the naysayers murmur. Number two, attention is the greatest commodity of all, and knowing how to capture it and convert it into money is a guaranteed recipe for success. Be louder in your own promotions and bolder in your own sales, because you are the only real obstacle that needs to be conquered. And third, have a childlike fascination with life. It's easier to make money when you're having fun and walking around with an insatiable curiosity. The impossible becomes possible when you allow yourself to daydream a bit more and step into a childlike faith for your future. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to think bigger, and I hope your family business goes on to change the world. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you watched, click the video on the left to watch the previous upload. And if you want one of my personal favorites, click the video on the right. And of course, don't forget to hit the middle to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thank you again.